When I was in college, I wrote a novel called The Triflers, the story of a high school student planning a schmooting. And in 2016, when my YouTube channel got popular, I self-published the book so that I could rake in hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The book actually sold pretty well. And some absolute loser named Turkey Tom even said it was his favorite book of all time.
I love this book. I absolutely adore it. While Monkey's videos are pretty good and can be really funny at times, his writing is honestly masterful.
But then, I heard a rumor through the grapevine that somebody had been arrested and my book was used as evidence to convict them. I didn't think it was possible, but it turned out to be true. Today, I interviewed the man himself to get the full story. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hi, I'm Vincent, and the only thing more fun than being an atheist is Raid Shadow Legends, a mobile RPG more real than God himself. Raid was recently nominated as a finalist for Google Play's Best of 2019 User's Choice Award, sort of like how I was recently nominated for Sexiest Incel Alive by Retribution Magazine, except my nomination was far more impressive. In case you didn't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play dark fantasy game where you can gather orcs, undead, knights, and elves. You can explore 13 spectacular locations, and if you have friends, you can start a clan together to go on raids. I don't have any friends myself, but at least I don't have to rely on imaginary friends. Raid adds more than 14 new champions every month, and there are progression awards that include free champions, equipment, and other cool stuff just for learning how to play. And once you complete the missions, you'll get one of the best legendary champions in the game, the Arbiter. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description and click on my special link to get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Well, folks, I am now joined by Anonymous Felon with a story that I don't know if I can possibly believe. Anonymous Felon, from what I've heard, you were, and this is just what I heard through the grapevine, you were arrested and placed under house arrest, and somehow my book, The Triflers, was to blame. What the hell happened? And welcome to the show.
So I was a pretty big fan of you, Mr.
That was your
Monkey.
first mistake. You too far.
Yeah, I probably should end things right there, but
Right.
No, but how it works is I was very fascinated with the Elliot Rodger case. I'm sure many others were back in, oh god, it must have been 2017, 2018, and so it was probably my junior year of high school now. I would talk about it with friends quite often because they found it interesting as well. And over time, eventually I just got a call when I was at my tabletop group. It was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And I get a call from my mother saying that someone had reported me saying that I said I was going to shoot up the school. Which, I like the good bit of dark humor and odd humor, but I would never say that, especially in a school setting.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Well, yeah, of course. We've all been 14 and we say the N-word or...
Whoa, Turkey Tom up in here.
But yeah, so I got this call and my mother told me that I had to go to the sheriff's office now and talk with a detective there so that I wouldn't, seem any more suspicious than I already was, because the school had to turn these reports they'd gotten into the police. And so I went down there that day and I talked to this detective. And I had to tell him, I had to talk to him about why people thought that I said that, because I talk about the Elliot Rodger case in school sometimes. He's like, oh, what is that? I said, oh, it was a shooting that took place in Isla Vista with this incel Elliot Rodger. And they said, "Oh, what's an incel?" I then had to explain to him in painful detail what an involuntary celibate was. And so then, he just said, "Okay, well, thank you for coming in. I know about these things. I know about this not being able to say this and that in public these days. Just go home. We'll get back in touch with you." And so I was going to be house sitting alone, and the next week was the 23rd of May.
Uh-oh.
So I'm home alone for about 5 days. It's no big deal. I was like 17 at the time, and so I'm just kind of there. I get a call Tuesday the 22nd. I get a call from my mom saying the police are going to come and search the house because they thought I was going to go commit the shooting, the day after. I shouldn't say this in the call, but I gathered this later because they thought I was going to be, Elliot Rodger too.
So did your discussion with the police chief about incels not clear your name the way you were hoping?
I think, if anything, it made it seem far more suspicious that I was so well-knowledged on it.
Yeah.
And so I walk out of the house because my mom said I need to take the dogs out as well so the police aren't, how do I put it, distracted or annoyed by them. So I take them out back.
Or AKA they're going to fucking shoot your dogs because police have no self-control.
I was so scared about that, which my fears were then not fully realized, but heightened a very second later. I look across the side of my house. I see about a half dozen police officers with not AK-47s, but assault rifles and shotguns pointed at me, telling me to get on the ground.
Pointed at you?
Yes, they were all pointed at me. They were expecting me to come out guns blazing.
Oh my god.
I am terrified in this moment, so I plop my phone on the ground.
Are you at least a white man?
Yeah, so luckily I didn't die right there.
That's why we're talking to you right now, because you were white.
Right. So I then just get on the, knees on the ground with my, with my hands up. I give my dogs a leash to the police officer. And then they haul me into the back of this, police car. And, oh god, I just remember this now, but it got a lot worse because they got my phone off the ground from where I dropped it. And so I'm in the back of this police car. And they're asking me what the password is to my phone.
Oof.
Only later did I realize I didn't have to give it to them. But it's all the more worse when... Okay, so I'm someone who very much likes to keep my passwords, as secret as possible. So I always come up with the most horrendous or distasteful thing I can put down as my passwords. And at the time, he's asking me what my password is, so I give it to him out of fear because I just had, United States military pointed at me. But I then give him the password, which was vapid anal sex 6969, which I had to slowly spell out to him letter by letter, and then by the end of it, he just kind of takes it away. And
so every time you open your phone, you have to spell out vapid anal sex 69?
No, well, now it's just the N-word twice. And then 2 69s.
You really are Turkey Tom.
So then I'm taken to a juvenile detention center that's near my house. It's in the next county over, but because I was on the county line, they took me to that anyway. And so I'm just kind of sitting there, and I don't really, when I'm, terrified to death, I just don't do much. I just kind of freeze up. So they thought I was very calm, but I was actually having a meltdown on the inside because I like to think I'm, not an unlawful person. I'd, never been arrested at gunpoint like this before, or at all, for that matter. They put me in a cell and stuff, and they just, they say, "We'll get you to your court hearing in whenever." I talked with my dad for like 5 minutes, and he just says, "We're gonna get you the best lawyer we can get, that we can afford." And then I'm just in that for a few days. They have some of the most. I'm not, I don't want to, make assumptions. But these people were incredibly violent. There was some huge guy who was like pounding on his door in his cell till like 3 a.m, screaming, "I'm gonna kill everyone in here." I didn't think people were like that when they're just like adolescents. It was crazy. So on the Thursday of that week, I'm taken to a court hearing for what's gonna happen with me, and the detective that I had spoken to so kindly that had talked with me about how things are often taken out of context and it'll probably be fine. he's in there feeding the police information. Like every once in a while they'd go over and talk to him. They had raided my room specifically and gotten. And I'm someone who likes history and stuff. I like things as like, novelty ideas.
Are you about to say you had a Nazi flag in your bedroom?
No, not quite. They had two of my books that I keep in my my vast collection in my room. they had The Triflers by Mumfie Jones.
Good book.
Which they read. Yeah, they had the
They
book.
read it?
They read the back of it. They read the back of it, and the detective, or not the detective, but the prosecutor, as soon as it got, that line at the bottom of your book where it says, "This book is not for the faint of heart."
Yeah. I don't know if
read
that's on
that-
a new edition or not, but yeah, I used to be on there.
I don't know. I have like one of the original, well, not the
Right.
original, but back when it was on Lulu. He read that in a scary voice towards the end of it. I don't know if that was to edge the judge on, but it was very, very weird. Because, like, I think Goosebumps books have the same thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't get what the interest is.
I got it from like Lemony Snicket.
But, so then he goes on to the other book, which is probably far more incriminating. Mein Kampf, my copy of Mein Kampf.
Very similar works.
Yeah, it's very similar. Great authors, too, both of them.
Yeah. I heard that they both killed themselves.
And so then it's just kind of led into it. Like, they tell me, they say about what they've been, like, apparently they've been, like, scrubbing my laptop for info. Or my Chromebook that I've been using at school, I mean. That, like, they had my laptop, too. I don't know if they'd scrubbed through that at the point, but... So, it's the Chromebook that I often use at school that was distributed by the school. They said they found numerous Google searches, or not Google searches, but searches for Nazism and Elliot Rodger, and several articles about Elliot Rodger. And, I don't really filter myself at school outside of, like, actually Googling guns, so I usually Google about World War II. I Googled quite a bit about Elliot Rodger, so that probably wasn't very good in my defense, but yeah. So then by the end of it, the guy's just like, I think we've all learned a very valuable lesson. I wasn't certain what it was, and then he just said, we're going to put you on house arrest until the next court hearing to determine what to do with you. And so then I went to the I think it was this correction center that they had for my county, and then I was just on house arrest for a decent bit after that. They put the ankle monitor on me, and then I had to bring this weird tower thing. Not a tower, but like a little brick I just had to stick on the top of a desk or something. So they could just have that scanning my location to and from the place.
All based on basically nothing. You never actually made a threat. You had no actual weapons or anything. They're just basing this off of fear.
I think I texted my friend Jacob like a school shooting joke at one point. I think that was in there too.
Jacob narked on you?
I don't think Jacob did. Like, well, the thing is that from what I learned after, they just kind of took people's phones at one point, which I don't know if they're allowed to do, and they just kind of searched them, and so that's how they found that. They also had my phone, so they could very well have found it that way, but I'm not too certain. And so then I'm just kind of on house arrest. I wasn't doing so well at first, I'll be honest. I was having like a rough time like eating and sleeping because, I don't know, I just felt, it was shocking to say the least, but, So that just kind of went on that way until I eventually had my final court hearing, which was just to determine what they were going to do with me. They were going to, the prosecutor wanted to send me to a boys' school for a year.
So you could shoot it up?
Well, of course, but I'm not sure if they wanted it that way.
No.
But I actually learned later, it was one of the places they sent Manson when he was younger, so similarities already.
Oh, it sounds like it works.
Yeah. And so but then the judge just, the sentence he makes is just 6 months on house arrest. I'll serve the rest of that because it had already been 2 months. And then the rest of the time I was going to spend on probation, which was about 9 months, I think. And so, and then I also had a few other things to do, like 40 hours of community service. I had to write a letter of apology to the school superintendent.
Did you make it as sarcastic as possible?
I was actually very scared writing it, so no, I made it as ass kissy, and
yeah.
I didn't directly admit to anything in the thing. I just said I said something that I probably shouldn't have, something along those lines. They did actually like it by the end of it, though. I used as many adjectives and flowery language as I could, which I think helped.
Well, if I recall the story of Rusty Cage, when he was on house arrest, he really got into performing music, and it changed his life forever. Did you pick up any interesting skills and make the most of your house arrest, or did you just mope around and try to kill yourself?
Well, I didn't try to anyway, but I'll be honest, I didn't do an awful lot while on house arrest.
That's fair.
I wasn't in the best mood for a lot of it.
Yeah, I'd imagine not. So at the end of the day, this is a story of an innocent boy who likes edgy jokes. He reads edgy books. He makes maybe some edgy Google searches. And the authoritarian government that we're all trapped in, the police state, overstepped their boundaries and punished you and ruined your life for thought crime. Is that what we should take away from this?
I think so. The thing I don't get is, I know people that made far worse jokes than I did. Like, I remember there was a friend I had who would wear a trench coat to school every day, every single day, and they didn't, like, because they found my trench coat at my house.
Oh my god, of course you have one.
Well, of course. Well, I got it at like $7 at Goodwill when I was actually out shopping with that friend, because he just wears it every day. Like, he wears a suit under it. Like,
he sounds very fashionable.
He is very fashionable. He was actually I think he was probably the most intelligent and popular kid at the school at the time, so.
Did he tell you that, or did you infer that on your own? So I guess, what is the lesson that you took away from this experience, if anything? And what would you like to pass on to the hundreds of people listening at home?
As painful as it is, only make edgy humor in the privacy of your home or your friend's home. And if you're gonna do it online, use some sort of, gay pseudonym or an alias. Don't connect this to your real name, because they will fucking lose it over it.
Uh-oh. I think I'm gonna get a knock on the door pretty soon.
Well, you seem to be invincible to this. Apparently even the FBI has nothing on you.
Invincible? Have you seen what's happened to me? This is like channel number 20. Well, Anonymous Felon, I'm glad that my book was read in court to a judge to give you a harsher sentence. I feel like I've finally made a difference in the world, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, I really appreciate you getting me down this path to begin with, because as terrible as it's been, I must say, hey, can't take any of it back.
I don't know, it sounds like your life would be a lot better if you never watched my shitty videos.
I wouldn't go that far, because of all the time I got to, spend indoors after house arrest, because after I got off, I didn't really do much, because most of my friends didn't talk to me anymore. Yeah, gave me the excuse to go online more and find someone that I can, not be an incel with anyway.
Well, do you have anything you want to plug, or is this a fully anonymous felon?
Subscribe to youtube.com/justjargon.
Hey! This is just jargon the whole time? Using a voice changer? Whoa! I knew it! Hey, thanks for joining the show. I was very excited to hear this story, and it did not disappoint.
Hey, no problem. Just glad you actually wanted to hear it.
Well, folks, it's like they always say. If you can't do the time, don't do the thought crime. Oceania has always been at war with East Asia. 2 + 2 = 5, and there is no war in Ba Sing Se. If you would like to press your luck and read my book yourself, luckily it's still available in paperback, hardcover, and as an ebook digital download. Links, as always, are available in the description. Thanks for tuning in to one of the most horrific stories I've ever heard, and thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring me. I honestly thought I'd never get a sponsor, so this was pretty cool. And obviously, thanks to all the beautiful patrons whose names you see scrolling at the end of these videos. I'll see you next time, folks, with part 4 of my short film festival documentary review series.